Carol Danvers has landed. Welcome to WatchMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 things you missed in Captain Marvel. Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. For this list, we're taking a look at references and little details you might have overlooked in Captain Marvel's debut. We'd suggest seeing the film before watching this video because there will be spoilers.
Hey, aren't you cute? And what's your name, huh?
Carrie.
What's cute?
Number 10. 90s throwbacks. Remember when there were Blockbuster videos and Radio Shacks on every street corner? In 1995, it was impossible to imagine a world without these retail stores. By the time the original Iron Man came out in 2008, though, both chains were on the decline. If you're a 90s kid, Captain Marvel will leave you longing for the days when your world revolved around Game Boys, laser tag, Nerf guns, and pinball machines. Of course, one thing you likely won't be nostalgic for is slow dial-up internet. Much like how Guardians of the Galaxy was full of 70s and 80s tunes, this film's soundtrack is a 90s time capsule, with Carol Danvers sporting a 9 Inch Nails t-shirt. Even the movie's website is pure 90s. Number 9. Fury's pager.
Oh, no.
Well done.
There was little doubt that this film would address the post-credits scene from Avengers Infinity War, in which Nick Fury uses his pager to contact Carol before disintegrating. It's revealed in Captain Marvel that Carol upgraded Fury's pager, telling him to reach out in case of emergency. In the post-credits scene, the pager has fallen into the possession of Steve Rogers, Bruce Banner, Natasha Romanoff, and James Rhodes. Just when it looks like the signal has been lost, an unaged Carol appears and asks about Fury's whereabouts. We wouldn't be surprised if this scene was actually part of Avengers Endgame, much like how the post-credits scene from Doctor Strange was actually a scene from Thor Ragnarok. In any case, Thanos has his work cut out for him.
I know what it's like to lose. Feel so desperately that you're right.
Number 8. Supreme Intelligence.
The intelligence rules the Kree Empire.
So it's a computer made of alien brains? Ew.
In the film, the Supreme Intelligence is an AI being that governs over the Kree and changes its appearance depending on who it's speaking with. In Carol's case, it models itself after Dr. Wendy Lawson, played by Annette Bening. In most other incarnations, however, the Supreme Intelligence, or Supremor as it's sometimes called, is depicted as a giant green blob with a disgusting face.
I agree with your assessment, Captain Marvel. 152397.2. The Avengers defeat Kree Sentry 459.
While this change probably won't matter to the average moviegoer, purists can't help but be a little disappointed that we never get to see the Supreme Intelligence in its true form. Maybe we'll get to see it in all its green glory in the sequel.
Earthers are a stubborn breed, but honorable. The Kree do not object to this duel.
Number 7. Guardians of the Galaxy references.
Drop it.
Hey.
Drop it now!
Hey, cool, man. No problem. No problem at all.
Their origins might differ, but Carol Danvers and Peter Quill are both essentially part human and part alien. Thus, it only makes sense that they would have a couple of acquaintances in common. Taking place around 2 decades before the original Guardians of the Galaxy, Captain Marvel features some members of the Kree Empire you may recognize. Jimon Honsu reprises his role as Korath the Pursuer, acting as a member of Star Force. Lee Pace is also back as Ronan the Accuser, who hasn't become a radical extremist quite yet.
You will never rule Xander.
No. I will cure it!
Number 6. The Right Stuff.
That is a spacecraft, sir. We do not refer to it as a capsule. Spacecraft.
Upon falling through the roof of a Blockbuster video, Carol finds herself surrounded by shelves of classic movies. She even encounters a True Lies cutout, blowing off Arnold Schwarzenegger's cardboard head.
Do you realize that it has in fact been 10 years since you've been behind the wheel of one of these things?
If I break it, stick and take it out of my pay.
Looking over the VHS collection, Carol is drawn to the 2-tape set for 1983's The Right Stuff. It's fitting that Carol would be interested in this Philip Kaufman film, since it centers on several military pilots who are chosen to become astronauts for the first human spaceflight program. As she unravels the mystery of her past, Carol remembers that she was an Air Force pilot before joining Star Force. Others may have doubted her, But Carol ultimately shows everyone that she has the right stuff.
Well, I hate to disturb you, buddy, but, we've got a launch here.
Uh-huh.
Number 5. Nobody calls me Nick.
Prove you're not a scroll.
That's a photon blast.
And?
A scroll cannot do that.
I'm just supposed to take your word for that.
Although they form a strong friendship throughout the film, Carol never reaches a first-name basis with Nick Fury. The S.H.I.E.L.D. agent makes it clear up front that everyone just calls him Fury, and nobody calls him Nick, which gives away Talos' cover in the elevator. In Avengers Infinity War, however, Maria Hill refers to him as Nick when they almost crash into another car.
Tell Klein we'll meet him at...
This isn't a fluke, as Hill calls him Nick once again before she vanishes into a pile of dust. Maybe we're reading too much into it, but this subtle detail may be implying that their relationship is closer than we thought.
Nick.
Nope.
Number 4. Monica Rambeau.
How do I look? Fresh.
Piecing her memories back together, Carol reunites with her old Air Force friend Maria Rambeau and her young daughter Monica. In the comics, Monica becomes Captain Marvel, and even leads the Avengers for a while. Monica is only 11 years old in the film, but by the time Carol returns to Earth in Infinity War, she'll be more around her mid-30s. Even if she doesn't become the next Captain Marvel, Monica could still fight alongside her Aunt Carol under any of the other aliases she's used over the years: Photon, Pulsar, or Spectrum. Number 3. Mar-Vell. As mentioned before, Annette Bening gives a dual performance as the Supreme Intelligence and Wendy Lawson. When she sees her mentor bleeding blue blood, Carol realizes that Lawson isn't of this world. Turns out that Lawson is actually a member of the Kree race known as Mar-Vell. This deviates from the source material in more ways than one. In the comics, Mar-Vell is not only the first Captain Marvel, but also a man who goes by Dr. Walter Lawson. In the film, Lawson and Carol's relationship is strictly professional, while the original Mar-Vell shared a romantic relationship with Carol. Number 2. Fury trusted Goose. In Captain America: The Winter Soldier, Nick Fury mentions that
last time I trusted someone, I lost an eye.
While he doesn't go into great detail, we are led to believe that somebody close to Fury stabbed him in the back. Or in the eye in this case. The backstory behind Fury's eye patch isn't as epic as he'd like us to believe, although it is hilariously on brand with the MCU. Throughout a majority of Captain Marvel, Fury retains the use of both of his eyes. Towards the end, though, he gets a little too close to Goose, who is far from an ordinary house cat. When Goose scratches Fury's eye, he writes it off as a minor wound, but the damage is more severe than he assumes.
Wow.
Number 1. The original Stan Lee cameo.
You, looking at that couple inside?
Gone, but far from forgotten. Stan Lee made a cameo in almost every Marvel movie from the original X-Men onward. 5 years before superhero movies made a comeback, however, Lee made a cameo in a very different kind of film.
Oh my god. Holy shit! Aren't you?
Oh, Stanley. Hi.
Director Kevin Smith is a huge comic book fan, which is made abundantly clear throughout his cult comedy Mallrats. In the film, Jason Lee's Brody is starstruck upon meeting his idol Stan Lee. In Captain Marvel, Carol spots Stan Lee on a train reading the script from Mallrats and practicing his lines.
Trust me, true believer.
Unlike Brody, though, Carol doesn't stop to ask Stan a dozen questions about superhero sex organs.
Reed Richards, can his whole body stretch? I mean, every part, like his...
I know what you mean. We never really tackled stuff like that in the old days. I mean, what with the comic book code and all.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out these other great clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.